So from our point of view, there's only two types of carbohydrates. There's the fiber-based carbohydrates, and those are the ones we want to focus on. And those include vegetables and less sweet fruit. Okay? That's all they include. When we talk about fiber, we are talking about vegetables and fruits that are less sweet. What would those less sweet fruits be? Berries are an example. Apples and pears and grapefruit primarily. And those are the fruits you really want to focus on in this program. Berries, apples, pears, grapefruit. All other fruits are probably going to be a little too sweet and you're going to want to minimize them. Doesn't mean you can't have them, means you're just going to want to minimize them. So those are the fiber-based carbs. Now here are the non-fiber carbs. The non-fiber carbs are everything else. Beans are a non-fiber carb. Cereals, non-fiber. I don't care if you're doing Kashi Go Lean Crunch or you're doing Fruit Loops. Pasta, potatoes, rice, oats, cookies, crackers, etc. These are all non-fiber carbohydrates. So you might say, Jade, that's confusing to me because you probably always heard that beans, cereals, things like that, whole grains, breads, those kinds of things, which are all non-fiber carbs in our book, you may have learned to think of those things as the things that you want to focus on the most, the fiber-based carbs. Well, this lesson you're going to want to remember because this is perhaps one of the most important lessons that you're going to get throughout this whole program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out for you the major differences between these carbohydrates, the fiber-based carbs and the non-fiber carbs. My blue pen is going to be sugar. Okay, so first I'm going to sketch out refined grains. Okay, that's how much sugar there is in refined grains. And here's the fiber content. Can you even see that? Teeny tiny amount of fiber. Now, let's do an example of whole grains. Okay, so whole grains look like this. There's the sugar in whole grains, the starch, which is also sugar, same thing. And here is the fiber in whole grains. So you can see that there. Now let's take something like beans, right? So beans have a little less sugar / starch and just a tiny bit more fiber than the whole grains. Now let's go into fruits, specifically the less sweet fruits. Okay? So fruits look like this. Okay? So there's your fruits. Now let's go into vegetables. Vegetables look like this. So you see the difference between sugar and fiber for refined grains, sugar and fiber for whole grains, sugar and fiber for beans, sugar and fiber for the less sweet fruits, and sugar and fiber for vegetables. You see that the less sweet fruits of the vegetables have much more fiber and much less starch, even though from the total perspective, they have less total fiber. That's why you want to be eating these foods primarily on a fat loss diet. They are far better because you don't get this huge amount of sugar. This is the difference between healthy eating and fat loss eating. The other things that fruits and vegetables have that these other foods do not have is they have a ton of water. Both of them have a ton of water. Here's the water in fruits, and here's the water in vegetables. So the fiber, the low starch / sugar, and the large amount of water in fruits and vegetables are going to balance out hormones so you're less hungry, you get less cravings, and your energy is stable. That's the difference. In this program, you want to be focusing on non-starchy things. You want to eat fiber carbohydrates, not non-fiber carbohydrates. So you want to be eating less sweet fruits and vegetables. That is a key distinction you're going to need to understand.